And here we might have one of the most slowest doors to ever open in all of anime and manga. So this week's episode, for the most part, the pacing felt a lot slower than some of the previous episodes. A lot of the episode was basically like cock teasing. You know, the door is really going to open. It's really, you know, it's finally opening. They're going to charge at the dragons as soon as they appear. They're going in. So it was definitely kind of like building up to that moment, and it felt a little bit slow in that aspect. But a lot of the episode had to do with Natsu versus this future rogue, and kind of at first in the episode it was like he was hiding his whole motives and everything like that, and he still is to this point, but a little bit of it started slipping out for the point where he's like, alright, you know what, I'm not gonna hide it anymore. Basically, one of the things is why I'm strong is, yeah, in a few years from now, I'm going to be able to, and I'm going to kill Sting and take some of his magic. So one of the big things in this episode, definitely one of the points of it, is seemingly Rogue is indeed 100% evil. There's no more doubts. I mean, at the end of the day, when you see him, he already looks like a very devious person, but he kind of lets the cat out the bag with that particular point, and he's basically like, yo, bro, come at me. So the fact that he did that, definitely getting more characterization of what he's about and what type of fucked up person, because the Rogue we know now is more timid and more quiet, and you would never think of him to do that. I mean, he's there loving his little cat. He's, you know, really connected with Sting. So to even think that this character would do something like that now, the one in our timeline, is just inconceivable. It's like, wait, what? Rogue did that? What? So you definitely see that from the Rogue that we have now to the 7-year time skip, a lot of fucking shit changes about this character, and a lot of things happen to the point where he would even do this. Like, this episode really asks the question, in my opinion, what would make somebody go from what he is now, a good person, to ultimately killing their best friend and coming back in time to do fucked up shit and evil shit, seemingly, because again, he's not completely letting all his cards loose, but he's attacking Natsu. He killed future Lucy. It's really making you question things like, why would you kill your best friend and then come back in time and fuck with us? And I'm glad as well that he's giving Natsu a run for his money in this episode. To a certain degree, you could say Natsu lost, because while it wasn't definitively in the fight, you know, he knocked out Natsu, ultimately, shortly after their battle, he faints. And I'd imagine Natsu would have fainted if their battle would have lasted even another couple minutes. So in that aspect, I kind of like that, and I think that was good, because a lot of people too also like to say Natsu, you know, always wins. Everybody in Fairy Tail wins. Nobody ever loses. So for him to actually knock out after that particular little battle that he had with Future Rogue, good stuff there. And just ultimately it builds him up as an even more credible threat if he is indeed the villain that we, you know, suspect at this point, because again, he's doing a lot of villainous things. And for him to kill Sting under any circumstance, unless he did it like accidentally or something, you would think immediately, yeah, there's nothing good about this guy for him to kill his best friend. And I mean, at the end of the day, Natsu had to get saved by Ultir and Melody, because if not, he was going to get fucked either way. So good shit there. I honestly think that that proved something. When the threat can come in and take out the main character, and the main character basically has to be saved by supporting characters, that builds the threat into something completely different than just, well, can we beat him? He took out Natsu right there, so that says quite a bit about, at the very least, he's not the same Rogue strength-wise that he was back then. He got this power-up from killing Sting, and he's ultimately on a whole different level than he was 7 years ago. But besides that, a lot of it was just kind of like the king saying, oh, you know, if we can't defeat all 10,000 with this ray gun, we're going to need you guys as help. So you have everyone there, and after all the events with Sabretooth, when you see them in the crowd and they're there like, yeah, man, we're Sabretooth, we're going to help out. Stop, y'all bitch made, chill out. Like, I can't, like, take that shit serious when they're there trying to look like, yo, we're gonna throw down too. It's like, the fuck out of here. What are y'all gonna do? Like, the dragons are gonna come from the sky and Sting is gonna curl up in a ball and cry for his cat again? I come across as a Sting hater, but let's be real here. That's some shit that you could possibly imagine him doing. And the end of the episode definitely gave a little bit of a twist as well, because it ends off with Lucy looking like her pupils disappear. She looks possessed, and she's like, I must close this door, which is the exact opposite of what she said she would do, and ultimately what Future Rogue said she will do. So that kind of throws things into a confusion. Does it mean that Future Rogue is right and Future Rogue did come back with good intentions? Is it something completely different? I mean, as a fan of Fairy Tail, I think we all could safely say, like, would Lucy willingly ever do anything to fuck over the world? No. Clearly, no. The main character would never do that. So you gotta assume either two things. She's possessed and somebody's controlling her, or something completely different is happening that we can't even like comprehend at the moment. So it's either or, because we know Lucy willingly would never do anything bad like that. I mean, aside from her having big tits, there's nothing, no, she would never do something like that, bottom line. So that's where you gotta question, is it something innately within her that realizes something is afoot, or is somebody controlling her? And as far as somebody that's read the manga, for some reason, for me watching the anime, not only just knowing what I know, but also it seemed a lot more obvious some things that are about to happen in the anime than when I was reading the manga. Like, I feel as though things just seem so, especially some of the dialogue that comes out of the characters, it seems like it's really hinting greatly at what's about to happen. But then again, that's just me. I'm curious, anime-only viewers, do you feel like you know exactly what's about to happen and what's going to happen if, you know, 10,000 dragons are going to come, and if they do come, where do you think they're going to come from? Like, definitely, as an anime-only viewer, I'm very curious what people think, because as a manga reader coming into this, I know what's going to happen, but it just seems a lot more obvious and a lot more put out there and a lot more hinting at it than in the manga when I read this. But overall, solid episode, good episode for the most part. Definitely a bit slower than I would have liked, because the door feels like it's just a fucking slow motion door. It's like, it's like, what the fuck? Open that goddamn door already so we can move forward. Also, Natsu losing to the threat, seemingly threat again. He could be the good guy right now. It, at the very least, makes this future old guy seem strong. So even if the dragons, let's just say, come in the air and he has to fight against them, it shows that, yeah, maybe he can really, you know, lead the pack against them. And ultimately, it was a good episode, solid episode. I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. It kind of declared some things regarding Future Rogue, like what would make this guy go and kill his best friend and take his magic. Also, a cliffhanger and a half with Lucy just there looking like she's possessed. Is it because somebody's controlling her? Something innately happening? Again, I'm not even going to question, do you think Lucy's gone bad? Because that's just stupid. Nobody in their right mind would think that Lucy Heartfilia has gone bad. And just overall thoughts of the episode. Good episode, a bit too slow, but ultimately it was progressing and giving some major questions and an interesting twist at the end. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, you can do so as well. That'd be awesome. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.